You know what? It's something that has helped me incredibly in my life, and
Yeah.
I've been a Scientologist for over 30 years.
Yeah.
With the amount of recognition and fame the Top Gun franchise actor Tom Cruise has gotten over the years, it would be surprising if he wasn't involved in any controversy or scandal. From his religious beliefs and relationship scandals, to constantly trending for his involvement in Scientology,
El día que descubrí Scientology.
Tom Cruise has always been under the watchful eyes of the public, but in a surprising turn of events, Joyce Meyer has finally broken her silence on him. What did she address about him? Join us as we reveal what Joyce Meyer has said about Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise's controversial faith. For years, Tom Cruise has been the poster boy of the Scientology religion, which everyone calls a cult. But now, the star has been seen distancing himself from the controversial faith. Cruise, who used to share the same faith as his mother growing up, had since switched to Scientology and the religion. The Hollywood A-lister has so far been a member of the Church of Scientology for nearly 40 years. His association with the controversial religion and its views have hurt his public image for most of his career. But with a few exceptions, the Top Gun star has refrained from talking about his religious beliefs, helping his career continue with less scrutiny than initially warranted. But regardless of the limited information concerning Cruise's religious beliefs, some believe the actor would one day embrace his first faith, Christianity. Joyce Meyer, a prominent American televangelist, feels strongly about the Top Gun star embracing Christianity, along with others who might have fallen off track with their walk with God. Here's where things start to get interesting. As an author and speaker known for her dynamic teaching style and practical approach to Christian living, Meyer believes the right way of living as an individual placed on earth by God is to walk in His way and His way alone. Cruise, on the other hand, doesn't seem to share or support the evangelist's beliefs. Although he has not been vocal about the Church of Scientology since he called the religion beautiful during an interview a few years ago, there have been recent reports of him distancing himself from the controversial religion. After Cruise wasn't seen visiting the Church of Scientology UK headquarters, even though he resided in Britain for a period of 3 years, fans believe something must be afoot. This is the first time that Cruise's equation with the Scientology Church has been questioned, as his association with the same has been a topic for many conspiracy theories. Several reports also suggest that Cruise's absence from the Scientology UK headquarters led to people believing that he is attempting to distance himself from the religion. In recent years, Scientology has faced heavy scrutiny due to abuse allegations highlighted in documentaries like Going Clear and Louis Theroux's My Scientology movie. These revelations prompted many loyal members to reconsider their ties to both the religion and the church, and some even opted for the closest exit. As surprising as it may appear, Cruise, who has always been an active member and supporter of Scientology, seems to have also taken a few steps back because of this. The church, led by David Miscavige, denied these claims, insisting that those who left were expelled for misconduct. The church also denied any involvement with whatever they had been accused of, and swore they had in no way given their support or approved of the actions of the ex-members of the church. Now, with rumors about Cruise distancing himself from Scientology, fans wonder how this will impact his career. Will he regain his faith in the religion, or will this be the actor's chance to make it back to the religion he had abandoned? As speculations continue circulating regarding Cruise's true faith, Meyer has not relented in her preaching of the word of faith while serving as a guidelight for lost souls. Each year, Meyer conducts close to 15 conferences teaching practical principles from God's word, with hope that souls just like Cruise's, which she believes are lost, would somehow find their way back. By staying true to her beliefs, Meyer has acquired many loyal fans around the globe, from grannies all the way down the generational lines to teenage girls. They find her warm, humble, funny, endearing, and honest traits not often associated with influential Christian leaders. Despite the controversies surrounding Meyer and her ministry, the evangelist still continues with her mission to win souls just like the actors, back to Christ. Shifting our focus back to Tom Cruise, the actor's connection with Scientology has not been confirmed to have ended. Nonetheless, fans still keep hope alive that one day he might completely denounce the religion and listen to Meyer's teachings from the Word of God and become a Christian once again. Stay tuned, because this next part is sure to keep you glued to your screens. Tom's first religion and first controversy. At this point, everyone probably knows about Tom Cruise's ties to the Church of Scientology. But that's not the only religion he's been associated with. Long before he became a Scientologist, Cruise was actually into Roman Catholicism, according to reports. Raised in an abusive home, Cruise reportedly sought refuge as a teenager in the Roman Catholic Church. The New York Daily News reports that he found a mentor in priest Rick Schneider, who helped him get into the St. Francis Seminary School in Cincinnati, Ohio, where Cruise allegedly started studying to become a priest. For someone with such a dream to completely denounce the religion was surprising to Joyce Meyer. But as someone with a similar past, the evangelist had an idea as to why Cruise did what he did. Even his alleged former best friend Shane Dempler added that the actor had a very strong Catholic faith, and when they went to Mass, Cruise spent time in the chapel and enjoyed hearing stories from the priests. But here's where things started to take a different turn. After about 2 years, Cruise left the school for reasons that were kept hidden until a few years later when the truth surfaced. After his exit, Cruise started taking acting more seriously, and once he finished high school, Cruise moved to Los Angeles. Over there, he signed with the Creative Artists Agency, commonly called CAA, which helped him gain important connections that would lead to his first movie role in 1981's Endless Love. In order to climb his way to the top, Cruise had to let go of his first faith, which in all honesty had already started to flicker after the incident at the school. And since then, Cruise has been able to establish himself as an action star. Acting in science fiction and action movies and often performing his own risky stunts, Cruise made his career his new religion and didn't look back until he met and married Mimi Rogers. Similar to Solomon's story, which Meyer had once preached about in one of her sermons, Rogers introduced her husband to a new and different religion, Scientology. The shift from Catholicism to Scientology came as a shock to fans of the actor, springing up different conspiracy theories and controversies. Andrew Morton wrote in a 2008 unauthorized biography of the actor that Cruise has grown to be the de facto second in command of the Church of Scientology, within the years of him joining the church. But Cruise's lawyer pushed back on that to the Huffington Post, saying Cruise had no official role, title, or position in the Church of Scientology, and he was simply a parishioner. Regardless of that, fans of the actor remain hopeful that Cruise would be able to embrace Christianity once again and go back to his roots. Having found her faith again during a crisis and stuck with God ever since, Joyce Meyer shares the same beliefs as Cruise's fans regarding the actor's return to God. With her faith preaching and the support of the Word of God, Meyer strongly believes anyone can be saved, including a devoted Scientologist like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise's controversial attention shift from Scientology to movies. With Tom Cruise, it is yet to reach the point where we, as a culture, are devastated and totally against the A-lister's actions or way of life. Not to anyone's surprise, Cruise remains deeply beloved, and not even in an unsettling, upsetting way, like some of our other prominent problematic actors. And it has everything to do with the way Cruise has thrown himself completely into his work over the past 10 years, not to mention the way he's effectively replaced Scientology with a different public-facing religion, the movies. There was a brief window where it was possible the Tom Cruise-Scientology partnership would end in some kind of mutual assured destruction. It didn't just shock the actor's fans from all over the world, it got people wondering what could possibly be going on, but it was only the beginning, and more was yet to come. The Top Gun star was on a roll in the mid-2000s, railing against psychology and pharmaceuticals, scolding Brooke Shields for taking antidepressants, then doubling down during a contentious interview with Matt Lauer. It was a time when Cruise was willing to sit down with a major publication like Rolling Stone for a wide-ranging, on-the-record interview, and give quotes regarding his religion, Scientology. Similar to Joyce Meyer, who had always been outspoken about her faith and trust in God, Cruise had been willing to openly flaunt Scientology. According to Cruise, the best way to acquire knowledge about Scientology was to get the book What is Scientology? And look at it, because it addressed everything Scientology stood for. The book is a very large body of knowledge with tools that are available for whoever was willing to learn, and Cruise felt it was the perfect material anyone would need, in place of the false book of the Christians, the Bible. The actor's remarks about the Bible triggered some Christians who had always criticized Scientology and viewed it as a cult rather than a religion. They made reference to Joyce Meyer, who was a well-known devout Christian actively teaching about her faith and the Word of God. According to them, only a righteous person like Meyer who knew the importance and value of the Bible was allowed to give comments on the Holy Book. Regardless of the backlash, Cruise nor the Church of Scientology's attention shifted towards the general culture at large, but instead, their focus remained on their beliefs. Looking back at a 2008 incident, hackers obtained and leaked an internal church video that featured Cruise, in a black turtleneck, preaching the virtues of Scientology. There was also footage of Cruise accepting the church's Freedom Medal of Valor and saluting Miscavige. In response, the church not only tried to wipe the video from the web, but cast doubt on its authenticity, claiming it was pirated and edited. That's not all. By the end of that year, Cruise was apologizing for acting arrogant and declining to answer interviewer questions about Scientology. Regardless of his participation in the activities of the Church of Scientology, Cruise soon realized the only way to get back at the top of his game was to shift his focus to something more important to him than his religious beliefs. With time, after Cruise had weathered the worst of the storm he'd largely wrought upon himself, his MO was simple: keep quiet and make movies, and the movies he made were good. Thanks to a creative partnership with writer-director Christopher McQuarrie, he revived the Mission Impossible franchise and also dropped a few fan favorites, like Jack Reacher and Edge of Tomorrow. As suspicious as the sudden switch may appear to others, Cruise has refused to actively or publicly involve himself with the Church of Scientology, but instead, his focus has been on entertaining the public and keeping himself in their good graces. But regardless of whatever Cruise's intentions are regarding this affair, it is clear not everyone is in support of it, and the controversial viewpoints still remain intact. Why does everyone hate Tom Cruise? Despite being one of the most successful actors in Hollywood, Tom Cruise has had his fair share of hate. Having starred in numerous blockbusters ranging from Mission Impossible to Top Gun Maverick, Cruise is that actor that most people envy. However, his controversial lifestyle has generated a lot of backlash and criticism from the public. One of the major reasons why Cruise is disliked is because of his deep involvement in the religion of Scientology. Mind you, people consider Scientology a cult.
Scientology is probably the most successful new American religion of the last 100 years, and it is spread through every corner of the world.
Cruise has been a member of this controversial church as far back as 1990. He was introduced to it by his first wife, Mimi Rogers. The Church of Scientology has been involved in a lot of controversy ranging from allegations of brainwashing to human rights abuses, and also it's operational like that of a cult. Tom's staunch advocacy for this religion has led many people to criticize and become suspicious of him. This is only the tip of the iceberg, as what comes next will blow your mind away. You see, Tom isn't only hated for his religion, but for his narcissistic attitude and personality. Tom hasn't had a blissful marital life, and this can be attributed to his personality and church. All his 3 marriages ended up in divorce, and they were accompanied by intense media scrutiny and negative publicity. His divorce from Nicole Kidman in particular was very controversial. This was majorly due to the allegations that the Church of Scientology was a major factor in their split. It was also speculated that Nicole Kidman refused to join the church, and because of this, she was viewed as a threat by the church who wanted to alienate her from Cruise. It's also said that the estrangement between Nicole and the kids she shares with Cruise is the result of a properly planned campaign by the church to turn Cruise kids against their mom. His sudden divorce from Katie Holmes was also full of controversy.
A Hollywood ending. The famous couple the tabloids dubbed Tomcat is calling it quits as Katie Holmes files for divorce from Tom Cruise after 5 years of marriage.
As it was speculated that the Church of Scientology played a role in their divorce too. His inability to make his marriages work has not only hurt his reputation in years, but has made people dislike his entire personality. His personality is so questionable because he sometimes acts in a bizarre and fanatical manner that many people just find distasteful. A good example is the infamous interview he had with Matt Lauer in 2005, in which he was chiding Brooke Shields for taking antidepressants when she was pregnant.
And she doesn't understand the history of psychiatry. She doesn't understand in the same way that you don't understand it, man.
This got people upset because he isn't a doctor, nor was he in any position to do that. He has also been criticized for showing willingness to go to war legally against anyone that criticizes the Church of Scientology. This is a tactic that the church is known for. He has even gone after some media outlets in the past. A good example was in 2003, when Cruise's lawyer Burt Fields said in an interview that Tom Cruise will sue anyone who says he's gay. This crosses the line for most people because these media outlets are just legally exercising their right to freedom of speech. Also, Cruise's behavior off-screen eventually started to hurt his career. In 2006, Paramount Pictures ended their 14-year partnership with him, worried that his strange actions would harm the earnings of the upcoming Mission Impossible 3. It wasn't just his connection to Scientology that concerned the studio. Cruise's odd behavior on Oprah, where he jumped on the couch while professing his love for Katie Holmes, made many people question his sanity.
What about the Tom Cruise on the couch incident, which was a pretty iconic moment? Do you see Tom at all since those days?
Redstone told CNN that although they liked Cruise personally, they decided not to renew his contract because his recent behavior was unacceptable to Paramount. There have also been different claims of Tom Cruise trying to control his exes, although these are minor compared to accusations of his disastrous micromanagement of his films. According to Variety, Cruise's reboot of The Mummy received terrible reviews, partly due to his interference. Insiders say he changed the entire script and had a heavy hand in the direction, editing, and marketing of the film, leading to a poor $32 million domestic opening weekend. While international returns eventually became better, insiders still had doubts that the film would cover its production and marketing costs. This isn't the first film affected by Cruise's meddling. Actor R. Lee Ermey, a friend of the late director Stanley Kubrick, claimed that Kubrick blamed the failure of Eyes Wide Shut on Cruise's ego. Kubrick reportedly told Ermey that he thought the film was piece of S***T because of them. Cruise has also lost most of his female fan base, and this is because when Katie Holmes, his ex-wife, was pregnant, Tom Cruise had to respond to rumors that he wanted her to give birth in complete silence. Scientologists believe this prevents lasting emotional harm caused by negative vibes during birth. According to ABC News, there were even rumors that Cruise had a special pacifier made to keep Holmes quiet during delivery, though Cruise insisted the church's silent birth method isn't as strict as people think. Telling women what they can and can't wear can make you very unpopular with them, but telling them how to give birth is even worse. Tom Cruise isn't just hated by the public. Even some celebrities have voiced out their dislike towards him. Celebrities that dislike Cruise. One of such celebrities who have personal issues and dislike for Tom Cruise is David Miscavige. David is the second leader in the Church of Scientology and a very powerful man. Although these two men have somewhat of a brotherly romance, David didn't have a good first impression of Cruise. And just like people say, first impressions matter. According to Ronald Miscavige, who is David's father, when Cruise was newly brought into the church, David had planned a welcoming party for Cruise back in the early 90s. David went as far as arranging for the personal chef of the Scientology founder L. Hubbard to prepare Cruise's meal. But Cruise would turn up 4 hours later to the chagrin of David. David was so upset with Tom's attitude that the duo had a bad footing at first, but things would be patched up some days later when Cruise and David went ski hunting together. However, in the case of Brad Pitt, things were downright messy, and it seems like the pair never settled their issues. Brad and Tom are on the same level when it comes to acting skills and popularity. And although the duo ran in the same circles, there has been tension between both men for almost 2 decades now. This all started back at 1994, when the pair starred alongside each other in the movie Interview with a Vampire. The stakes were already high for both actors. For Tom, it was the doubt of the writer of the source material. While for Brad, the stakes were high because he was working with an actor like Tom Cruise. Also, there were the conditions of the set, the dark scenes and long shootings, that made Brad miserable. For Brad, it felt like his role wasn't up to that of Tom, and in most cases, it was like he just had to sit around and watch while Tom Cruise was the huge star on set. Brad also said that Cruise liked bugging him and that there was a point during filming that he realized that he was North Pole while Cruise was the South. After this movie, the duo never worked together again, and their rift was never settled. Tom didn't just have issues with fellow actors, but even media houses and people of the media house. One such example is the rift between him and Matt Lauer. Matt is best known for his works at NBC, where he interviewed many big names in the world. One of those famous interviews was the one he had with Tom Cruise 15 years ago. The two bumped head a lot during the interview, and this happened during the press tour that was held for War of the Worlds. Matt didn't spare Tom during the interview, as after some initial harmless questions, he went straight to asking him about Scientology and his relationship with Katie Holmes.
His relationship with Katie Holmes spawning 1,000 tabloid headlines.
Cruise became upset during the course of the interview that he went as far as calling Matt a glib. Tom would go as far as attacking Brooke Shields for mentioning that she took antidepressants. He would say that this has affected her career. This was very distasteful to Brooke, and it comes as a shock that he would attack Brooke like that given their friendly history together. You see, when Brooke appeared on national television, she mentioned taking antidepressants whilst dealing with postpartum depression. This will anger Tom as he would go on a long talk chastising Brooke that she didn't know enough about medications.
There is no such thing as a chemical imbalance. What happens to the antidepressant, all it does is mask the problem. There's ways of vitamins.
Brooke would then attack Cruise by saying he should stick to saving the world from aliens. This was a jab on Cruise's 2005 film, War of the Worlds. Cruise would later apologize to Brooke and invite her to his fairy tale wedding to Katie Holmes. Sometimes the worst part of a breakup is the damage it can have on mutual friends, and this was the case with Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise. Russell was the personal friend of the couple, but he was much closer to Kidman. And it didn't come as a surprise that Russell sided Kidman after the pair ended things with each other. Russell strongly supported Nicole Kidman that he disassociated himself completely from Tom. A source says that Russell is a loyal guy and hasn't been able to stand Tom Cruise for years because of the way he treated Nicole, and that if he had continued to befriend Tom, he would be betraying Nicole. So he just decided to completely shut out Tom from his life. But despite all these, Tom was still excited to start alongside his former friend Russell when they were both casted for the 2017 movie The Mummy. Even his fellow actors seem to have had one or two bad experiences from Cruise, and Thandie Newton is one of such. You see, back in the year 2000 when Thandie had to work with Tom on the first installment of Mission Impossible, she had some scenes with Ethan Hunt, played by Tom Cruise, the star of the movie. But all didn't seem as glamorous as people would think about working with Cruise. Tom was a perfectionist, and for Thandie she saw that firsthand on the set of the movie. His professionalism sometimes causes him to lose his temper. She also went as far as describing Tom as a very dominant individual. Although he did try to be a nice and decent person, the level of stress he deals with causes him to snap sometimes, thereby losing his temper. One such situation was when she was having trouble reading her less perfect lines. Cruise opted to read her lines while she read his. For Tom, he believed this should have helped, but his method didn't help at all. Rather, it made things worse. Looking back, Thandie says that her working experience with Tom was less than comforting. Tom Cruise is definitely not every celebrity favorite, and more of them have spoken out concerning their relationship with the star. Stay tuned, because the best part is yet to come. More celebrities speaking about Tom Cruise. Many years before her death, Lisa Marie Presley opened up about not having a good relationship with Tom Cruise. She mentioned that she hated him and the religious organization he belonged to. Lisa might not be an actor, but being the child of the popular singer Elvis Presley brought her fame. Fame that would make the Church of Scientology to seek after her. Although the church wasn't able to recruit Elvis when he was alive, but they did bring in Lisa and her mother. Lisa was introduced into the church by her mother when she was just 9 years old. She had long suspected that their inclusion into the church was solely because of their big names and large fortune. After she left the church in 2014, Lisa became vocal about her hatred for the church and Cruise. In an interview with Tony Ortega, she accused David Miscavige of taking advantage of her family's fortune. She also went on to declare her hatred for Tom. According to her, they met 20 years ago, and she decided never to be in the same room as him again. One would think it's only celebrities that detest Cruise, but even some football players do not like his personality. A good example is David Beckham. Back in 2007, when David and his wife Victoria Beckham moved into Hollywood, the soccer star was greatly embraced by some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Tom Cruise and Will Smith were one of the couple's earliest friends. Tom Cruise would even become very close to them, that it's accurate to say that Cruise and the couple were the closest of friends. However, things started becoming cold in their relationship as the Beckhams drew away from Tom. A source says that the couple did this because Cruise was insistent about the pair learning more about Scientology. This hurt Tom because when the couple moved to Los Angeles, he had thrown a big party and invited big names from the church, but they had stood him up. And although the couple tries to reconnect with Cruise, he had refused and ignored them. For Justin Bieber, he had in the past challenged Tom Cruise to a fight. In 2019, a tweet of Justin went viral, and in it, he challenged Cruise to a fight, saying that if the actor didn't meet him in the ring, then he was afraid, and that would be something he could never live down with. Justin even tagged UFC President Dana White to the tweet, asking him if he would be willing to host the fight. Cruise never responded, and Justin would later back off. He would then add context to the tweet when he was riding around with James Corden. Justin admitted that the reason he brought up the fight was because he was just being stupid. No one seems to know if Justin had a prior beef with Tom, but maybe he actually harbors some ill feeling towards the star. Even though Mark Wahlberg isn't a very popular celebrity, he has no time for Tom Cruise. The two actors have never worked together, and it seems they never will after Cruise's comments in 2013 offended Wahlberg. That year, reports said Cruise compared his movie work to the intensity of fighting in Afghanistan. Wahlberg responded later that year without mentioning Cruise by name. According to TMZ, Wahlberg said that for some actors to actually sit and talk about having SEAL training, and the fact that their movies contained some gruesome training, doesn't mean that it should be compared to the work the Army does in Afghanistan. For Wahlberg, he doesn't care about what someone has done, but what the military is doing can't be compared at all to an ordinary movie. Wahlberg questioned Cruise's sense of humor. Shortly after, Cruise's lawyer told people that Cruise had clearly been joking, adding that Tom is a staunch supporter of the American troop. Given the history between Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, no one would expect her to still be in good terms with her ex-husband. Although the two were once the power couple in Hollywood, but their fairy tale love came to an end with their shocking divorce. And this changed things for Nicole Kidman forever. The divorce came as a shock to the world, and Nicole, who had gotten the message out of the blue from Cruise. Tom Cruise went public with a cryptic message about the divorce, saying that Nicole knew why, but she obviously had no idea why. Many people have speculated that it was due to Tom's involvement with the Church of Scientology, but both he and the church have denied these allegations. After the divorce, the children that the couple shared opted to stay with Cruise while Nicole moved back to Australia. Things became so estranged between her and her adopted children that even at their weddings she wasn't invited, which was at the request of Tom. Some other actors like Leah Remini have opened up about their issues with Tom Cruise. Leah's issues with Tom Cruise isn't about their shared profession as actors. Since leaving Scientology in 2013, the King of Queens star has repeatedly criticized its most famous member. When Top Gun Maverick was a hit, Remini warned fans, saying on social media that Tom Cruise knows exactly what goes on in Scientology, and that they shouldn't let the movie star charm to fool them. She also named him several times in a lawsuit against the organization, calling him essentially second in command, and claiming it's a high crime in Scientology to even try to criticize him. She even went as far as calling him evil at one point. Although it's unrelated to their Hollywood careers, Cruise's role in Scientology has made him a central figure in Remini's public fight against the group. Shortly after Top Gun, Maverick made nearly $1.5 billion at the box office. Many industry figures praised Tom Cruise for reviving the theatrical industry. Mickey Rourke, on the other hand, called him not important during an interview with Piers Morgan. Rourke, known for recent films like War Hunt, Hunt Club, and Not Another Church Movie, told Piers Morgan that Cruise's success with Top Gun doesn't mean anything to her, because Cruise has been doing the same part for 35 years, which didn't earn her respect. Rourke said Cruise has become too comfortable and hasn't challenged himself as an actor in decades. When asked if he thought the 3-time Academy Award-nominated and 3-time Golden Globe-winning actor was good at his job, Rourke just said that he thinks he's irrelevant. When Alec Baldwin called out Tom Cruise, people were shocked and taken by surprise. During a speech at Ella Magazine's annual Women in Hollywood dinner, he talked about the pay gap in Hollywood. This is an issue that has been a problem for many years, according to him. Alec Baldwin also made claims that if Tom Cruise were to lower his quote by $29 million, then the scales would be balanced. He went on to say that he didn't want to put it all in one singular man, but if he did, it would be on Cruise. And when asked why not him, Baldwin replied by saying that he did not make up to that amount. However, this comment didn't cause much of a rift between the two, because in 2018, they still appeared together in Mission Impossible Fallout. The only difficulties they had on set was their physical injuries, which made shooting less. Despite both being devout Scientologists, rumors have circulated for years that Grease actor John Travolta doesn't seem to like Tom Cruise. In 2018, a former church member, Brendan Teig, told New Idea that Travolta was very jealous of Cruise. The reason? According to the report, Cruise holds a higher position in Scientology and is one of the few people with direct access to Scientology leader David Miscavige. Teague said that Cruise is the only celeb with a direct line to Miscavige, and Travolta didn't have that. Travolta doesn't get anything for free. No one gives him absurd gifts like an airplane hangar, custom-made bikes, or over-the-top favors. Teague also said that it was no secret that Cruise and Travolta despised each other. It's no news that although Tom Cruise might be popular and loved, but people still hate him because of how poor of a human he is. Do you think the reasons why celebrities and people hate Cruise is justified? Let us know your opinions in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You'll enjoy it.